Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Justin wasn't here to remind me. So thank you, Lenny. Turn on my microphone. Call this meeting of the Fremont County Board of Commissioners to order on this Tuesday, March 14th. Today we have our invocation by Bert Corley from Connect Church, followed immediately by our Pledge of Allegiance. If you all please stand.
Look there, I got that part right. I just want to take the opportunity to thank you guys for what you do. I know most times y'all don't hear from the community unless they need something or they're mad about something. So hey, thanks. I appreciate what y'all do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Gracious Heavenly Father God, we thank you. We praise you for who you are. And we come to you this morning asking for wisdom and guidance, Father. Your word tells us that man plans his ways, but you guide his steps. And that's exactly what we're asking for this morning, is that as our leaders go about the business of applying resources to needs, Father, that you give wisdom and guidance. And of course, as it is always with the affairs of men, there always seems to be more needs than resources, Father. And so I ask for wisdom and discernment of our leaders, Father, and ask that you bless them and their families, Father. I ask that you be with all of our public service employees, Father, especially our law enforcement, our fire and rescue personnel, Father, that you keep them safe as they go about their duties. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Bert. Thank you, Bert. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Grantham?
Here.
Commissioner McFall?
Present.
Commissioner Bell?
Present.
County Attorney Jackson?
Present.
County Manager Carochi?
Present.
Planning and Zoning Coordinator Adamic?
Present.
We are all in our places.
With bright shining faces.
There we go. Approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chair, we do have one change to make today. That change is under item 7.1A, the County Clerk's Monthly Report by Justin Grantham, County Clerk. We need to move that to our April 11th, 2023 meeting and move up item B to create item A in that vacancy. So with that change, Mr. Chair, I move to approve today's agenda.
Second. Has been moved and seconded. Roll call.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham?
Aye.
Motion carried.
On to the consent agenda. Mostly typical fare for us in the consent agenda, and no public hearings to be scheduled in this consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Roll call.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Move on to our administrative and informational part of our agenda with updates from staff and elected officials. Move now to our county manager, Tony Carochi, for the county manager report.
Good morning.
Morning. Morning.
So we have selected and hired a new director for the Fremont County Public Health. His name is Michael Cornwell, and he is currently the Mariposa County Public Health and Human Services Deputy Director of Administrative Services, located in Mariposa County, California. We are looking at a May start date. Fremont County will be providing a spring cleanup program in April and May. The date for the trash vouchers will be April the 10th through May 19th. We have once again partnered with Twin Enviro Phantom Landfill. A limited number of free vouchers will be issued to residents for disposal of household trash, furniture, construction, debris, brush and leaves, etc. The maximum fee amount is $500. Only one voucher per address, and an ID will be required. And also, we are partnering with 3R Technology Solutions to provide electronic recycling. This event will take place on April the 29th from 9 to 2 in the Fremont County Department of Human Services parking lot. The cost will be $30 per item for televisions, and for CRT computer monitors, and all other items will be free. And information will be posted on our Fremont County website and Facebook for both of these events. So Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And those vouchers will be available to pick up in the admin office?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. All right,
Room 106.
room 106. I was waiting for somebody to chime in because I couldn't remember.
That one over there.
That one up there in the corner. All right, thank you, Mr. Croce. Commissioners, our
Yes.
turn.
Yes.
Would you like to go first,
If I may.
please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, I would just like to thank Tony for just jumping right in, and it's drinking from a fire hose still, but you're doing a great job, and I appreciate your report this morning. Hopefully, our citizens can see how many different things we are working on all at the same time, and so I just want to say thank you for that. I also, Mr. Chair, would like to call our citizenry attention to the broadband feasibility study that Fremont County has undertaken. So there is currently a link on our Fremont County website, fremontco.com, broadband feasibility study, and there's a link there for you to take. It's a very, very quick and simple 2-question survey. It asks basically, do you have good broadband internet? And if you do not, why not? And let us know why not. Do you not have it because it's not available? Do you not have it because it is too expensive? Do you not have it because it's too unreliable? We are in the process of mapping the county to figure out where we have good broadband and, more importantly, where we do not. And we can't do that by ourselves. We need everyone's help with that. So please tell your friends, tell your neighbors. If you don't have broadband, to go online and fill this application out. We do have paper surveys available in city halls throughout all of Fremont County, as well as here at the administration office in 106. So I would just ask everyone's participation with that. We're really excited to figure out where we need broadband so we can put together a list of projects and their priorities to get broadband to our folks. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. And it, just to reemphasize on that, because we're obviously focusing on our county residents and especially the rural residents. Anybody can obviously participate in that once they click on there, but we certainly want to get the feel for our west end and all the rural areas of the county. Commissioner?
Well, just to add to that, that was the only thing I had written down. We have these pamphlets. I did put some here for the folks that are in attendance and those millions of you watching around the world. Please sign on, whether you're on your phone or your computer, and take that quick survey. It is pretty quick. So I jotted down a couple other quick things since that's all I had. But first of all, out at Pathfinder Park, if you've been by there in the last couple weeks, I guess, or a week or so, finally got construction started and they're moving dirt on the new covered pavilion that's going to be out there. So that's really exciting. The construction company guaranteed me they'll have it done before the fair. So I'm holding them to the fire on that deal because we need that deal for the fair. It's pretty exciting there. We also just want to let you know that next Monday, I believe it is, we'll be attending the senior mini college and presenting our, what do you call this thing that we're going over today?
Accountability.
Yeah, accountability report. I need
In room 106.
well, we don't know what room, but it'll be up at PCC campus. So I know that's been on a hiatus for 2 or 3 years, so it'll be fun to get back out there to the senior mini college, and a lot of people really enjoy that, and there's a lot of good information is shared out there. So if you haven't signed up for that and you're interested, get online if you have broadband and get signed up to attend some of those. And just a quick reminder, we still are under a stage 1 fire restrictions. Most of the state of Colorado is well above average in snowfall, but not the Arkansas Valley down here. It's dry. It's very, very dry. So be very diligent if you're out and about, and thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. And for my part, just a constant drip of the reminder of the Colorado legislature is still in session. Hold on to your wallets and to your rights, as all are under attack. So we will talk a little bit more specifically about one in particular later on in this agenda, a resolution in regard to the Second Amendment, resolution in regard to the Second Amendment. Easy for me to say. And many other things that are constantly on our forefront. In fact, I think the three of us are going to be all heading to Denver. I'm not sure if all three of us are, but we will all be participating one way or the other in our Colorado Counties Inc. meetings this week, Thursday and Friday, where we discuss all this legislation that is coming forward and what we support and what we oppose. And we try to bring some of that information back to you, of course, and we'll have more detail as we continue on through this session. But in any case, know that we are fighting for you, for the citizens of Fremont County, against many of the bad things going on. I have other words I want to say, and the mic is on. Awful legislation that is happening. So more to come on that, and we do have our legislators that do give us updates. We've had 2 of those so far with our State Senator Mark Baisley and our State Representative Stephanie Luck. We don't have one scheduled for April. They both had scheduling conflicts on those Saturdays, but we do have one that is scheduled for May 13th right here in this room, the Commissioner's room. May 13th, Saturday at 11 a.m. And so that'll be after the session is already finished. So that will be essentially a wrap-up summary of what they did to us. I mean, what was accomplished in the legislative session this year. And so please put that on your calendars for May 13th. Okay, anything else? All right, let's move on to the next part of our agenda. Citizens who wish to address the commissioners on a matter not scheduled on the agenda. And we have one person signed up to speak to us today, our illustrious Mayor Pro Tem, John Hamrick.
Just checking who you're talking about there.
Good morning, John.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Glad to see y'all. Just an informational update for you. We have received, the city has received 5 applications for the Water Committee. This is, I believe, of some interest to the commissioners. The question will be put to council, I believe, Monday, whether we will consider that a full suite of people. We do have 9 slots, I think, but I think that we can probably proceed with 5. And so perhaps just a question, do you have any feelings one way or the other? Would you like to see applications continue, or would you like to see applications closed on that? You have some idea? My inclination is to say let's close applications, but there'll be a discussion in council about that. So if you have any thoughts, you could maybe share those with me before that meeting.
I think, John, just real quick, I know that you were asking for certain categories of individuals. So I think it depends on what applications you have received. If you haven't received some from certain categories,
I think it's a pretty diverse group, so I believe that we've fulfilled the category, requirements.
Yeah.
So I think we have at least one representative from every category. Okay, also I see although this is on your agenda today, I do have a question for you. Would you like to see a similar resolution passed by the city in support of the county, perhaps, or something like that? If you do, perhaps maybe email me your resolution. I will be talking with our city administrator this afternoon, and we'll have the opportunity to make that suggestion if you would like to see that.
Is that in regard to our Second Amendment resolution?
Yes, that's what I'm looking at here. And also, I wanted to remind you, I'm not sure that you're on the email list for Brittany Peterson. She is Pedersen?
Pedersen.
Thank you. Thank you for that correction. Brittany Pedersen, she is having an informational meeting online, and I just wanted to make sure you were all aware of that.
We are, and I think at least 1 or 2 of us will be on that
Yes, absolutely.
Zoom
Good.
to
But thank you.
chime in.
Thank
you,
you.
John. Appreciate that. And I guess just in quick response, I think we would always welcome the city's
Absolutely.
backup on that, on any Second Amendment issues, and especially when it comes to the issue that we're going to be talking about directly on this agenda item in the resolution.
Make sure they email that.
I'll take care of that myself. Thanks. Okay. Next item on our agenda, old business, there is none, so on to new business. The first item on our agenda is a proclamation naming Saturday, March 18, 2023, Honor Flight of Southern Colorado Day in Fremont County. With us for the representative for this proclamation is VFW Post 2788 Commander Jim Sheridan. Jim,
Thank you,
welcome.
Commissioners, Commissioner Bell, Commissioner
morning.
Grantham, Commissioner Fall, thank you for having me. Fremont County officers, thank you, I appreciate this. As well as being the VFW Post Commander, I wear many hats. The next one I wear is more or less the Veterans of Foreign War. I'm the Deputy Chief of Staff for the State Veterans of Foreign War Commander of the state of Colorado. Here I'm representing the Southern Colorado Honor Flight Association. As you see on the proclamation that you have graciously made for us, which I appreciate and the board appreciates very much, the Honor Flight itself, as you see, was since 2005, the Honor Flight Network has spread out throughout the United States. We honor our veterans who have served, the ones who have come back home and the ones that we are able to say, give our greetings to at Washington, D.C. What this does, the Honor Flight pays for the flights of the veterans from World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and our current ones from Iraq and Afghanistan. We take and fly them up for 3 days to Washington, D.C., and they get to see the memorials that are up in Washington, D.C. that are in their memory for the ones who came home and for the ones who did not. They get to pay their respects. They get to say goodbyes, is what they do. It is a great time. These veterans that we have sent, I've been on this board for the last 3 years, and it is a great sight to see the smiles on these veterans' face when they go on the plane to go there and they come back. It is something you all need to see. With this, we have a banquet coming up on March 18th, which I know, commissioners, you're going to be there. It's been a great time. We definitely want to see you there, and there's going to be a lot of great things happening. With this, we have a current flight, and this is the first ever for the state of Colorado. In April, we have the first ever female veterans flight going to Washington, D.C. from the state of Colorado. And it got filled within less than 30 days.
Nice.
So it worked out very great. We have 2 more flights lined up for June and 1 more for October.
Wow.
This fundraiser that we're having the banquet for down at the Abbey on the 18th, all the money and proceeds that we get from this banquet goes to the Honor Flight Association to fly our veterans to Washington, D.C. And they have a great time. They have their chaperones with them, plus we have some of our board members that goes also too. It is a wonderful time. I've been asked a couple times when I'm going, my time will come down the line. This is for my veterans that they paved the way for me when I served in Iraq and Afghanistan. So with this here, I do thank you for what it is here. If I may ask Commissioner Bell, you can read a little better than I can on this. Just, if you don't mind, that would be great. And if after she reads this, could I get a photo of you 3 commissioners together that we can let you get on with your business and that, and then I'll get out of your way.
You bet.
Absolutely.
All right.
Commissioner,
If I
please.
may. This is a Fremont County Board of Commissioners proclamation for Honor Flight of Southern Colorado Day, March 18th of 2023. Whereas since 2005, the Honor Flight Network, a national organization of more than 130 independent hubs working together to honor America's veterans with an all-expenses-paid trip to the memorials built to honor their service and sacrifice in Washington, D.C., has taken more than 250,000 veterans to the memorials in Washington, D.C. And whereas Honor Flight of Southern Colorado is a veteran-inspired 501c3 organization with a mission to transport Southern Colorado veterans to Washington, D.C. for a 3-day trip to visit the memorials dedicated to those who have served and sacrificed for our great country. And whereas Honor Flight of Southern Colorado pays 100% of the veterans' costs, as well as all the costs for medical and behavioral therapy personnel and a photographer to capture this once-in-a-lifetime trip. And whereas Honor Flight of Southern Colorado also covers the cost of each veteran's pre-flight lunch, round-trip airfare, lodging, meals, honor flight wear to include jacket, shirt, hat, those kind of things, bus transportation, and a keepsake memento. And all of the funding comes from private donations and some corporate sponsorship, with 96% of every dollar going to costs associated with taking these veterans to Washington, D.C. And whereas, since its inception in 2011, Honor Flight of Southern Colorado has provided this unique experience to more than 350 World War II, Korean War, and Vietnam War era cherished heroes and any terminally ill veteran regardless of their time of service. Now therefore let it be proclaimed by the County Commissioners of Fremont County that Saturday, March 18th, 2023 is hereby designated as Honor Flight of Southern Colorado Day. The County Commissioners urge all people of Fremont County to support Honor Flight of Southern Colorado today and throughout the year. And I would like to say, Mr. Chair, it truly has been my honor working with you today, Jim, to be able to prepare and present this. I'm very excited that we all will be there Saturday to join in this celebration and fundraising event. I have to admit that not being a veteran myself, but having a father who was a veteran, grandfathers who were veterans, and my own son also is a veteran, this means a lot, not only to the people you are taking, but it means a lot to all of us. The three of us have all had the opportunity to be in Washington, D.C. for various meetings and different things. I know we all have been able to visit those great, incredible memorials that they have out there, and I can only imagine what it looks like when those folks are able to show up. And so I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you to you and to the rest of Honor Flight of Southern Colorado for everything that you do.
Well, we do thank you, and even though you may not have served, but you had family members who served, and with the support that we have right here, even though you're not a veteran, you support us as veterans, and you support the veterans who are serving today, we appreciate that very much. And that makes us feel very good. We're out there for a purpose. So, and I do thank you for this, and we will definitely be looking forward for all three of you and your families, your spouses to be there at this banquet, because it's going to be a fun time. There's a lot of great things going to be out there, and I hope you do a lot of bidding.
Mr. Chair, if I might, before we make this official.
You bet.
First of all, thank you for your service. Thank you.
It's an honor, sir.
We wouldn't be able to sit up here and do what we're doing without you guys, so thank you. I do have just one question. So we have donated, and we're going to participate in this, which is a great opportunity, but how can others donate to these flights that aren't going to go to this banquet or otherwise?
With this, there will be a website that's out there. I can provide it with you, and you can put it on your website for the Fremont County. Any donations that they would like to give to the Honor Flight Association for Southern Colorado, they can go into it. Don't matter if it's $10, $50, or $100, or if you want to sponsor a veteran itself. We do have certain tiers, and I will present them to you at the banquet. That way you can post it on your website.
Thank you.
All this money goes, except like I said, 96% goes to the veterans to go there. It's just we have to have operating costs for the shirts and T-shirts and hats and everything else, but that's minimal. But a lot of stuff gets donated, which is great. But yes, I will have that information to you on the banquet night and everything. And other than that, but no, yeah, they can vote and donate anything, amount of money they want to help us on this. And we're very open with the books on if anybody wants to see anything with that right there.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank
No
you,
problem,
sir.
Mr. Chair, I have a motion.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
We'll have comments here in a little bit, so
All
go
right.
ahead and make the motion.
I move to approve the proclamation naming Saturday, March 18th, 2023 as Honor Flight of Southern Colorado Day in Fremont County.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded, and just before we take roll call, I want to thank you as well, Commander, for what you do, not just for this, but for the VFW and everything you do for the veterans and what you did in service for our country. My intersection in my past with Honor Flight, been honored I got to speak at the kickoff luncheon or the send-off luncheon that was in the Springs a few years ago.
Yes.
And probably one of the highlights of my life, because you get to sit at a table with the veterans.
Oh, yes, you do.
And it's a wonderful experience just to get to know them, get to listen to their stories, and see the, like you said, the smile on their face because of what's getting ready to happen and them
Yep.
getting to take this trip. It's a fantastic thing. Back in 2019, I was involved in a fundraising opportunity, and we got to give a substantial check to the Northern Colorado. I can't remember if it's called the Northern Colorado chapter, but
Pikes Peak, I believe.
well, there's one up in the Denver area
Yeah.
as well, and
Yeah,
so
there's actually 3 within the state of Colorado.
right. So I got to help them out, but it's a fantastic thing, and I'm really looking forward to that banquet when we get to talk more about this.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. And to let you know, like I said, I retired from the U.S. Army 28 years. I retired as a first sergeant. I've seen a lot of places, done a lot of things, and it's an honor. It was an honor serving then, and it's an honor serving now as with the Veterans of Foreign Wars. That is a new chapter in my life, because when I retired fully from federal service last October, I devoted my thing for my veterans here in Fremont County and anywhere else that I can help them do this. And this is one big thing right here for me, and I can hand it to them.
Thank you,
That's
sir.
awesome.
Ms. Smith, roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell,
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Fantastic.
All right.
How about a picture?
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir. The tickets right now are sold out. In fact, I need to talk to you anyway.
He has a proclamation. Should we sign it before we?
Oh, yeah, we should.
We should.
We can take it.
Could we have that just real quick?
Sure.
I'll sign it for you, and then we'll take a picture with that.
Once in a while.
Right.
Yeah, I figure out how to get here. That's it. Too many roadblocks, right?
All right, let's get that turned around and. All right.
Thank you very much. See you
Thanks again. We will see you Saturday.
Oh, yes, you will.
I love that stuff.
I know. That's good. Thank you. I am looking forward to that banquet. It's a fantastic organization. Next on our agenda, item number 2, the Dry Up Covenant and Agreement for Pathfinder Regional Park Water Tap. And for this, we turn to our county attorney, Brenda Jackson.
Good morning. This is a procedure that we have to go through to get water taps, and this is water tap for the covered pavilion area at Pathfinder Park. We did one of these agreements about 12 years ago when we got the first water tap. And at that time, they took 2 shares of Union Ditch shares, and I'm not sure if it's 1 or 2 for this tap, just 1. So the agreement's written for 1, and if they want to, we can revise that. So this is the standard agreement. In exchange for a water tap for city water, we have to agree to dry up the acreage represented by 1 share in the Union Ditch, and that's about 1/10 of an acre. So probably about the size of the pavilion. So we'll attach a legal description for the park and then a map showing what area we're drying up. And this resolution gives the chairman authorization to sign the agreement.
Okay, any questions? Any motions?
Just a note, though, Mr. Chair, we actually do have a resolution for this. Our agenda does not reflect that, but we have a resolution, so this will be resolution number 10.
Gotcha.
Right. That's why I was confused when we were talking about resolution this morning. I thought there was another one.
Yes.
And I got a motion for you, Mr. Chair.
Very good.
Ready? I move to approve a resolution authorizing you, the chairman's signature, as chairman of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute the covenant and agreement as to use of the water right of the dry up historical irrigated property at Pathfinder Park. Resolution number 10.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded. You know, some days we come up here and it's like this is the first time we've ever done this.
Some days.
Well, no more than twice a month. It has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Next on our agenda, actually, it is 10 o'clock. I guess, I don't think we have a representative on here. We could just motor through, but I guess
You can defer it.
we can defer the public hearing to when we get to it. Let's continue on in the new business then. Resolution number 11, the next item on our agenda. It will be amending the March 2019 edition of the Fremont County Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual, Chapter 7, Leave, and Chapter 13, Pay and Compensation Plan. And for this, we turn to our Human Resources Director, Alicia Stone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So what this is we are amending policy 7.09 regarding sick leave bank to add leave hours granted for maternity leave. So we'll grant 80 hours for that. And all of the preconditions for the sick bank still apply. And then 13.02 regarding compensation administration to clarify yearly step increase administration and new hire step placement for the Fremont County personnel policies. So we're just, again, clarifying that. So promotions and demotions occurring after July 1st will not move over one step. And that does not apply to career progressions or reclassifications. And we're also clarifying new hire step placement to be at the time of hiring. That needs to be done and established. And then 13.03, we're amending policy pay administration to remove the service adjustment section and increase the promotion percentage from 3% to 5%. And then finally, 13.04 regarding classification to add criteria for re-evaluations. So that is everything in a nutshell.
Okay. Any questions for Ms. Stone?
I have no questions, but I do have a comment, Mr. Chair.
Please.
I would just like to say Alicia is relatively new to her position as Human Resources Director, and she's done an amazing job. So we're really lucky. We're very happy to have you here and to have you on things like this, things that are adjustments that we need to do, adjustments we need to make to our manual, and I just want to let you know that we appreciate you.
Thank you.
So with that, Mr. Chair, I do have a motion.
Please.
I move to approve resolution number 11, amending the March 2019 edition of the Fremont County Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual, Chapter 7, Leave, and Chapter 13, Pay and Compensation Plan.
Second.
Okay. It has been moved and seconded on resolution number 11. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay. Resolution number 12, item number 4 on our agenda is protecting the Fremont County citizens' right to self-defense and opposing House Bill 23-1165, county authority to prohibit firearms discharge. And for this one, just for the record, I think I am going to read through this.
Good luck.
Yeah, the way things have been going today, good luck, thank you. This is a resolution for the Fremont County Board of County Commissioners, Fremont County, Colorado, protecting citizens' rights to self-defense and opposing House Bill 23-1165, county authority to prohibit firearms discharge. Whereas Amendment 2 of the U.S. Constitution states, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And whereas in the 2008 Heller decision, the Supreme Court held that though the first clause indicated a purpose, it in no way expands or restricts the operative clauses that protect the uninfringed right of individuals to both keep and bear arms. And whereas in the 2010 McDonald decision, the Supreme Court held that the right of the people to keep and bear arms applies to state and local governments as well as to the federal government. And whereas in the 2022 Bruin decision, the Supreme Court held that the constitutionality of gun laws will be based on whether the plain text of the Second Amendment protects the activities the laws are regulating. And whereas Section 3 of Article 2 of the Colorado Constitution, Inalienable Rights, states, all persons have certain natural, essential, and inalienable rights, among which may be reckoned the right of enjoying and defending their lives and liberties, of acquiring, possessing, and protecting property, and of seeking and obtaining their safety and happiness. And whereas Section 13 of Article 2 of the Colorado Constitution, right to bear arms, states, the right of no person to keep and bear arms in defense of his home, person, and property, or in aid of the civil power when thereto legally summoned, shall be called in question. And whereas under existing state law, a Board of County Commissioners may not designate as unlawful the discharge of firearms in shooting galleries on private grounds or in residences under circumstances that do not endanger persons or property. And whereas the BOCC recognizes that individual communities may enact covenants, conditions, and restrictions that govern the use of a certain piece of real estate in a given community, which are voluntarily accepted by property owners in those communities. And whereas House Bill 23-1165, if enacted into law, will allow local governments to increase restrictions or infringements on the manner in which citizens of Fremont County choose to bear arms. And whereas HB 23-1165 specifically allows for a ban on outdoor private shooting galleries, and whereas training and practice are important to ensuring the safe use of firearms and the exercise of inalienable rights to self-defense, defense of property, protection of livestock, and to come to the aid of civil authorities in rural areas, and whereas it should not be necessary for gun owners to have paid membership in a private gun club or pay to use a private facility in order to maintain firearm proficiency, and whereas the BOCC has previously and often declared its faith in our citizens' ability to make good decisions regarding their own health and safety and the health and safety of their families and neighbors, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of Fremont County, Colorado does hereby reaffirm its long-standing and vigorous support of the Second Amendment and the rights of the people of Fremont County to freely exercise those God-given rights, publicly announce its opposition to House Bill 23-1165 as both unnecessary and potentially harmful to our citizens should future boards choose to impose the restrictions allowed by this bill, and 3, call on members of the Colorado Legislature to vote against this legislation and the governor to veto House Bill 23-1165 if it reaches his desk. Be it further resolved that all citizens of Fremont County are encouraged to join the BOCC in opposing House Bill 23-1165. Commissioners.
Well, okay. So this is not the only bad bill that is attacking our rights up there. There are 3 other gun bills making their way through the process that are also attacking our rights. I just want to point out that it's already to recklessly and dangerously shoot towards homes, shoot towards other people. That's already illegal. We've talked about this before. They're kind of putting this off as local control. I feel that this is, I'm all about local control, but I also don't see how this can be even thought about by any county or any county commissioner in the state of Colorado to limit their citizens from having their, being able to use, extend their rights. I know there's people that won't agree with us on this. I understand that. Not everybody feels the same way that we do. However, I believe that most people in Fremont County will agree with us on this in defending our Second Amendment rights. But those of you that don't, I just want you to think about this, that you have other rights that they're chipping away at as well. So if you like your rights to speak, and you have every right to send me an email and tell me that you don't agree with me, and I appreciate that, but you have that right. But it's the same as a Second Amendment right. So we've got to protect our rights and stand up for them, and we hope that others will stand up with us against these terrible, terrible bills that won't accomplish what they're trying to accomplish, I believe. This particular bill is made for one person in the state of Colorado who is illegally and dangerously shooting in a neighborhood that has houses close together. And there are ways to handle that one citizen and not a statewide bill.
For which laws already exist.
For which laws already exist. So, stand up with us. That's all I ask. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to just make a few different comments, although I agree absolutely with everything this resolution says, as well as what Commissioner McFall just said, and I'm sure Commissioner Grantham is getting ready to. I want to look at this as a little bit of a historical perspective. I grew up here in Fremont County, and I grew up in a house with guns. My father was a hunter. My brothers were both hunters. My dad never went anywhere unless he was armed. He got in a vehicle, and we all knew where the gun was. We all knew we weren't to touch the gun. When you grow up with guns, they're not a bad thing, because you actually learn how to act around weapons and the things you can and cannot do. I think that my father and forefathers before him would be rolling over in their graves right now if they could see what our state is doing to try to take away our rights. They protected them. I just made the comment that many of the men in my family are veterans. They fought to protect these kind of rights. And to know that those rights now are under attack by our very own state elected legislators is absolutely beyond appalling. And I cannot support this enough. So thank you for that, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioners. And just to pile on, this is being framed and being touted as a benefit to local control, giving the counties the authority to regulate the use of firearms on your private property. Now, in my ears up there, and I know from down here, and the commissioners have seen this as well from the legislature, many things they try to push through under the guise of local control. What that means is that they don't really know what the words mean, local control. The Constitution gives us local control and gives liberties and freedoms and rights to the individual. And they are the most local of local control that one can have. And the right to keep and bear arms, the Second Amendment rights, are foundational to the rights of the individual and the local control of that individual. Unfortunately, folks in Denver, they will turn on the Second Amendment, especially in recent years, and use things like local control as if that's going to persuade some of us to jump on board because it's local control. No, this is just another layer of government interfering with our own individual constitutional rights. And local control begins with the individual. And that is what the Constitution is guaranteeing to us. Where this bill sits in the legislature right now, it passed the House, and it is, I think, still awaiting assignment and introduction in the Senate. I could not find this morning, Commissioner McFall, where it was actually assigned to as far as committees, because I honestly think they're having some serious problems with finding the support for this thing in the Senate, remarkably enough. And so, in fact, one of the sponsors, the Democrat sponsor in the Senate, one of them dropped off the bill and is no longer a prime sponsor of the bill. And you're starting to see some of the support dissolve over this, and we hope it's enough to kill it in the Senate, or to at least convince the governor to put this one in the trash basket when it comes to his desk. So, in any case, speaking of the House and its passing the House, there is some bipartisan nature to this bill. There is bipartisan opposition to this bill. We actually have the other party that has voted against this bill, and none of the Republicans that have voted for it. So opposition is coming from a bipartisan standpoint on this, and hopefully it will be enough to wreck the momentum of this bill, and it will die in the Senate committee in its first hearing. So with that, I would like to make the motion to pass resolution number 12, series of 2023, protecting the citizens' right to self-defense and opposing House Bill 23-1165.
Second.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. And any further discussion?
I have one more comment, Mr. Chair.
Please.
This applies to this bill as well as the others that we're going to see very soon too. Making good people helpless will not make a bad person harmless.
I love it.
So
Say it again.
making good people helpless will not make a bad person harmless.
I like it. Thank you.
I would just note it has been assigned to local government and
Thank you.
housing.
Thank you. Couldn't find that on the fly this morning, so, okay. So it has been introduced and it's been assigned to a committee.
Yes.
Okay. Any further comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Grantham?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Very good.
Could you share what is the next step now that we pass this resolution?
The next step for this resolution, I will probably personally send it to our representatives and probably to the sponsors and the speaker and the president. So,
And the governor.
and the governor, yeah.
Yep. And
governor.
the city.
And the city.
And actually, you already have it in your email, John, by the way.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, next item on our agenda is the 2022 Fremont County Accountability Report. I had to slow down to say that one, knowing what was going to happen, the train wreck of my speech today. And for this, actually, we're going to ask Commissioner Bell to kick us off with this. So please,
All right.
take her away.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to begin by saying I'm so proud of Fremont County for continuing to do an accountability report. When I came into office in 2011, I realized and discovered we did not have an accountability report, which I look at as an annual accounting to our citizens of exactly what it is we do with the taxes and fees that we collect from them every single year. I think we owe that to our folks, and so we started having the conversation. The first accountability report that we did was in 2013, and that means this is officially our 10th accountability report, and I think we should all be really proud of that. So,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, so 2022, I was honored to be the chairman of this board, and I think we got a lot done. So we have an abbreviated version of some of the many, many things that happened here in Fremont County over that entire year. So we're beginning here with a photo of Fremont County elected officials. You can see from left to right, Dwayne McFall, Commissioner, Alan Cooper, Sheriff, myself as a Commissioner, Randy Keller, Coroner, Stacy Seifert, Assessor, Justin Grantham, Clerk and Recorder, Kevin Grantham, Commissioner, and we are missing Kathy Elliott, Treasurer and Public Trustee, who was not available for that photo. We have in the next slide some commissioner accomplishments throughout 2022. We started working on this list and we could have continued and continued and continued. But I'm going to highlight some of the things. Pathfinder Regional Park, we did some amazing things. We opened the event center in February of last year. We held the first full Fremont County Fair at the park. We also began the process to build a covered arena at Pathfinder Park, which is ongoing now. We had, unfortunately, last August, we had a ransomware attack that took the county down really hard. But the fortunate part is we were able to recover from that. We have everything except for one or two very minor glitches still on our county website, and information is available. We just need to work around a couple of things still. But we've done an amazing thing in being able to recover from that, and by we, I really mean our IT department. In 2022, as commissioners, we allocated $2.9 million of American Rescue Plan Act funding for businesses, nonprofits, and governmental improvements. We completed design work for the Grandview Bridge replacement. We also kicked off the countywide broadband initiative that I spoke of just a few moments ago. We completed the administration building re-roofing project. We added tasting events to liquor licensing. We updated playground equipment at the Western Fremont County Park. We completed Cranberry Park drainage project to hopefully alleviate some of the flooding that happens there when we get our terrible rains, which we haven't gotten for a while, but they're coming back. So we also began an affordable housing study and zoning regulations rewrite. So those are some of the things that we as commissioners accomplished last year, and we're very proud of those. One of the fun things we do every year is we honor our Employee of the Year. We had these folks who were nominated last year: Kathy Acton, a detention deputy; Evelyn Campbell, supervisor custodian; Candier, lead custodian; David Hankins, assessment technician; Michelle Harris, civilian investigator; Darren Holmes, detention deputy; and Alicia Stone, human resource generalist. We did not include this really under the list of commissioner accomplishments because this is something that is voted on by all of our elected officials. And our winner this year, our Employee of the Year, was Alicia Stone, who at the time was a human resource generalist. And you all just saw her a moment ago standing before you as our human resources director. This is a summary of all of the funds that were expended in 2022. I know there's a lot of writing on that page and would like to say this entire report will be available to you online at fremontco.com. This does include some ARPA, American Rescue Plans Act funding, in some of those totals, so we may not be in quite as good of shape as it looks, because some of these numbers I know are a little bit out of alliance, I would say, with previous years because the numbers are so high. So if you want more information on those, go take a look. If you have any questions, give us a call. And now I will turn it over to Commissioner McFall.
Thank you. So the Fremont County Airport, Wes Brandt, he's our airport manager. For a little airport, it's pretty dang busy out there. They had a lot of people stopping in for fuel. As you can see on the slides, that there's 734 full-service fuelings and 738 self-service. A couple years ago, we upgraded where they can just stick their credit card in like you do at the gas station and fill their plane up. There's 76 based aircraft out there and 8 helicopters during high peak fire season, which is scary, right? Talking about fire, the Fremont County Airport, they had some older equipment out there that we were able to use ARPA funds to help replace the avgas refueler, some vehicles, a vehicle. There's a gate that needed redone. That was done. Rehabilitated a rental hangar. And then he has a pilot appreciation barbecue where folks can fly in or drive in and eat barbecue and fly out or drive out, whichever. It was over pretty well. It's pretty cool. We'll move on to the Fremont County Building Department. Wyatt Sanders is our building official. He has 2 inspectors up there. There's a lot of information on this page, but I highlighted a few that kind of stick out. Those 2 inspectors did 2,251 inspections and traveled over 35,000 miles in the county to do those. We have building going all over the county, actually. There was 1,187 building permits. That's 111 new stick frame single-family dwellings with 20 manufactured homes and 11 commercial structures. So there's just a lot happening in the building department. There's 230 licensed contractors in Fremont County. 117 of those are general contractors, 113 are specific trades. They're constantly busy up there, and they've been kind of short-staffed part of the year with some of the office staff. So that it shows that there was some cost savings because of the lack of staff, but they still bring in about $833,000 to the county through taxes, through inspection fees and whatnot. So building department does a great job for such a small department and so many tasks that they have to do. We'll move on to the Fremont County, or this is not me. I'll pass this over to Commissioner Grantham.
Thank you, Commissioner McFall. we talked about this beforehand, but it's really hard not to chime in on every single one of these because there's so much stuff I want to talk about in each of these departments and little tidbits and stuff. But just to reiterate what both have already said, our county employees are amazing and our departments are amazing and they do a fantastic job. And there's just a lot to say, and just for time's sake, I will move on to our Fremont County Department of Human Services. Speaking of which, our most recent former director of our Department of Human Services, sitting down here to our left, this is under his watch, many of these things that happened. And so we really appreciate the work that Tony did out there at the DHS. Some of the accomplishments that we see up on the screen, enhanced safety measures put in place throughout the building and the outside areas, which are very important to the function of what happens out there. Also participated in the 150th Jubilee celebration in Canyon City, as did the commissioners, which was fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Also completed the staff outdoor break area. There is also a strategic planning held for the supervisors and administrators at Pathfinder Event Center. The CDHS Executive Director visit with supervisors, the admin, Magistrate Allen, and the commissioners. There was also a plaque presentation to family of staff member Matilda Akia. Is that how you say it, sir? Thank you. In remembrance of her contributions to DHS. She passed away from COVID the previous year. And sponsored the statewide collaborative management program, CMP conference, which was held at Pathfinder Park for all the coordinators. That next slide, we also see eligibility received a certificate of appreciation from CDHS for having 95% timeliness. Held a Bring Your Child to Work Day for DHS staff families. Held an in-house trick-or-treating event for DHS staff families. Provided Narcan kits to staff and families. Dropped staff turnover from 31% in 2021 to 14% in 2022, which I think the three of us say hallelujah. It's a fantastic thing for us to see there. Child Support received awards at the state conference for meeting all task force performance measures and C-state measures. Supervised parenting time completion rate increased by 17% from the previous year. Fatherhood specialist position added, and received 100% on the adoption assistance review, which is fantastic. Just a lot of fantastic work happening out at DHS, and we really appreciate a really great job doing tough work. So, on to our Fremont County Department of Transportation, Tony Adamick, Director. I will not read through all the projects, but you can see that they are busy everywhere, all over the county, chip sealing, doing asphalt projects, fixing, replacing cattle guards, dust suppressant on our dirt gravel roads. This doesn't even begin to deal with the stuff that they do in the winter as well, with clearing snow, etc. It's a big job by our DOT crews, and they do a fantastic job of trying to keep up and maintain on the extensive number of miles of roads, where the bulk of our population sees the handful right here around town, but get out into northwest part of the county and south central part of the county, and there's just a whole lot of miles that they have to maintain, and they do a fantabulous job. Fleet services, we see on that slide 2,298 days without time lost due to injury, which is great news. Several vehicles added across different departments, including DOT, but also those to the sheriff, the airport, the coroner, and to parks as well. Some vehicles that are disposed of. Then a listing of all the shop repair and maintenance hours that goes on with the fleet services, and some of the insurance claims that we had over the course of the year. And that is the report from our Department of Transportation.
My turn.
Please.
All right, up next, Fremont County Emergency Management. Michael Kroll is our emergency manager, and as we discussed here 2 weeks ago, he also was named the Emergency and Recovery Manager of the Year for the South Hazards Region. So congratulations, Michael. Job well done. Like Kevin just said, I'm probably not going to be reading this entire slide, but I will say that you've probably all heard the comment or the quote that if you want something done, give it to the busiest person that you know. I think that might include Michael Kroll here for Fremont County. He does many, many things. You can see he helped with the cyber attack. After our cyber attack, he started working with Colorado emergency managers for planning, response, and successful practices when that does happen. He also works a lot with, we call FreeCom, which is our dispatch center here in Fremont County, hosting trainings, meetings. He does FireWise community preparedness events throughout the county. One thing that I would mention is he also works with the Everbridge reverse notification system here in Fremont County to get people registered in case there is some sort of an emergency that they need to personally respond to. Anyone who has not registered their home phone or their cell phones for this, please go to fremontco.com, go to the other resources at the top of the page, click on FreeCom 911. Once you're there, click on 911 alerts that's at the top of the page. Get signed up for those because Michael works really hard to ensure that all of our citizens are as safe as we possibly can be. One other really important thing here is he does continue to secure grants for equipment and supplies for all hazards emergency response support. So very busy man, and we're happy to have Michael here with us. Up next is Fremont County Planning and Zoning. Dan Victoria is our director. You can take a look here at some of the different charts and graphs that we have. We have 20 applications submitted in 2022 for subdivision regulations. There is always a lot of work that needs to be done in maintaining addresses here in Fremont County. So we had some of those different things. The inspections, you can see new permits, there were 51, annual inspections, 121, and kennels, 7 different inspections done. We also have information here on medical marijuana. We currently have 6 optional premises cultivation licenses in place, a couple of others, and 2 were closed throughout 2022. Zoning, there were a lot of compliance issues that we had last year. There always are. And our zoning department works really hard to bring folks into compliance. So they had 401 cases last year in compliance. They did verifications, reviews. We also had 21 land use applications. So collection fees and helping hands, these are some of the fees that were collected throughout 2022. The Helping Hands is a project that we assist folks by providing dumpsters to help clean up their places for those people who simply do not have resources to clean up their own. We provided 41 dumpsters last year for a total of $13,630. We also had 1 county cleanup that cost the county $28,886. So we have a lot of folks very often come to us and tell us, this place is a mess, that place is a mess, you need to go clean it up. Just as an example, that's what it can cost when the county has to intervene, go to court, get a court order, and get something cleaned up. And I will throw back to Commissioner McFall.
All right, Fremont County Department of Public Health and Environment. Kayla Marler was our director in 2022. On this, going to read this word for word up here. No, I'm not, but they do a lot over there in public health. You can see they were still keeping up with the COVID numbers, trying to post those and let the community know where those stood. Opioid overdose prevention program is a huge ongoing program right now as there is a problem with opioids and overdose, and sometimes it's unintentional overdose, but trying to get that information out there to folks, Custer County, Chaffee County, working with those. We are part of Region 15, where we receive money for the opioid settlements, and those monies are going towards these programs as well. Substance and use prevention was an S-Block grant. The STEP program is another grant that they received, and working on those to try to get those out to the community for information and any resources that they can get out there to folks to help slow these epidemics, you might call them, down. They also have an immunization program. Anybody can go there and get immunized, get your shots, whatever you need. They have testing, as you can see on this screen, the next screen, there we go. They test for tuberculosis. Yeah, I got that word out, TB. It's kind of interesting, some of the stuff that is coming back around that I haven't heard of in my lifetime, really. They also have a read out and read program. They gave away 118 books. They kind of worked in cooperation with the public library, so that's really cool. Retail food establishments, there was 210 establishments that were routinely inspected. There were 187 that passed on the first try. There were 17 they had to re-inspect, a few little things they had to fix. Those are all within the county. They inspect the schools on a routine inspection. Child care facility inspections, tattoo stores or body art inspections, they inspect those periodically. There were a few complaints over there, so when those complaints come in, they go and check those out as well. Temporary special event food establishments, we see a lot of those. We'll see some coming up here in May with the Blossom Festival coming up, all of those trucks and stuff that are coming into town. They're really busy over there all the time in public health. Now we will go to our veteran service officer, Marty Peak is doing a great job with our veteran service office. He's reaching out to veterans and letting them know of the services that are available to them. He completed 816 telephone calls and voicemails, conducted 649 office visits, participated in 36 outreaches to home visits and meetings. I know there was a couple of days he sat out in front of, I believe it was Safeway or City Market, and introduced himself to vets and made some appointments to get those guys some services that they may be missing out on. So he does a great job, and we really appreciate Marty taking care of the vets in Fremont County. Pass this over to you. Commissioner Grantham. Yeah, I'm just going along, just reading, enjoying myself.
I will turn it over to Commissioner Bell.
Okay, hold on here.
I skipped him. Sorry.
He
Sorry.
kind of, all right. So I believe weed management is up next.
It is.
Yes,
ma'am.
okay. Brittany Pierce is our noxious weed director, and as we also mentioned here just a couple of weeks ago, she was the weed manager of the year for the state of Colorado just a couple of years ago. So once again, congratulations to Brittany. I think those two things just show what amazing people we do have working here in Fremont County. So this next slide shows some amazing pictures of the things that they do in order to help control noxious weeds here in Fremont County. They use packing mules, they get in little boats, and they also occasionally climb up into a helicopter and take a ride to apply control measures to some of those places. Sounds like a little bit of fun. Up next, area of treatment, you can see. No, actually, I have not. So, area of treatment and acres treated, you can see we treated last year a total of 285 acres for others, and over 12,000 acres were covered total. Outreach events included biocontrol release days, public weed walk on the Riverwalk, home and garden show, pesticide applicator training and conference, and they continued with the removal of select List A species, including giant reed, which is the one pictured there, Japanese knotweed, myrtle, spurge, and elongated mustard. All right, and back to Commissioner McFall. And yes, we did skip we is a loose term.
The collective
We did
we.
skip Commissioner.
So it's the SU
Chairman
Extension
at
Office.
one point.
Yeah, I said I was so excited, I just kept going. Jeremy McNeely was the Extension Director. We have since this year, he's now our new event planner out at Pathfinder Park, so we're glad to have him here, but last year, CSU, we did move them out to Pathfinder Park, all their offices, to kind of help take care of that facility as well. Jeremy put together a drought resilience symposium. It was very, very good, and we're still in a drought, so some of those practices are still being used and need to be used. A ServSafe certification was administered. Over $15,000 in grants and scholarships were awarded. Recruitment and retention efforts reached 80% in 4-H. That's great. Livestock judging team was reassembled in an effort with FFA. And the director performed interim duties in Custer County as well because they were without a director for a little while. And PPEC event coordinator. We had the first ever Fremont County Fair, as was mentioned earlier, at Pathfinder Park. There was a record attendance for Family Day. Livestock shows were held under a tent because we didn't have a building quite yet, which we're working on now. There were more food trucks out there than ever before. Craft vendors were able to participate. And we had the highest livestock sale in the past 5 years. And that's saying a lot because I think the sale after COVID was really huge. So that's pretty good. That leads us right into Pathfinder Park Event Center. As was mentioned earlier, it opened, we had a ribbon cutting in February, and the rest of the year we had over 100 events held in there. Weddings, funerals, workshops. It was pretty amazing. Again, held the first county fair out there. Housed the Fremont County Extension Office, was just mentioned, and now there's a new website for Pathfinder Park. A lot of people are anxious about trying to see what's going on out there. PathfinderParkEventCenter.com. It's a growing venue out there. And I will pass this to Commissioner Grantham.
Oh,
Finally, wake up.
yeah, excellent. Just to kind of chime in backwards on our veteran service officer.
The one I
Marty
skipped him
Peak.
on, sorry,
Yes. He does a fantastic job, Marty does, and there are thousands of veterans in this county, and many of whom who have never come in to see Marty, and to see what their benefits could be, should be. So I would, if for the millions listening around the world and those veterans who have not taken advantage of that to come in to see Marty, please do so. And he would love to help you out on that.
Or if you can't make it in, he can come see you.
That's
if
true.
it's available.
That is true.
He will do that.
And in fact, going to another point that Mr. Hamrick made in regard to the meeting with the Congresswoman this afternoon, Marty is helping us out in the talks with the VA in regard to the clinic that we hopefully will see her sooner rather than later. And maybe we can have some of that discussion today with the Congresswoman. The last part of our accountability report today is the Sheriff's Office, who graciously provided some stats for us from 2022 for their office. The first slide is the pictures of our sheriff and undersheriff, Alan Cooper and Derek Irvin. The next slide, the pie chart there, shows the detention, patrol, and traffic divisions, and the immensity of these numbers just staggers me, to be perfectly honest, when I first looked at this slide and what they're doing and what they accomplish, and for some of the decisions we made for this 2023 budget, it only reaffirms our decisions as far as vehicles go and what we need to do for that sheriff's office, for how many miles they put on those vehicles. Rolling around the clock there on the right side of the pie chart, that the inmate transports, 59,001, and then keep going around, the courthouse screenings, 49,000 plus, patrol responses, 21,000, nearly 22,000, and traffic stops, that little sliver there at the top of nearly 2,300. Our patrol guys are busy. They're out there doing a lot of work. They're not just out there harassing drivers. That is not their job. They do a lot of work that helps keep us safe and secure here in Fremont County. Next slide. The bar chart is Administration and Investigations Division. Again, just giving some of the details on on the work that they're doing in investigations, evidence and impound, concealed carry permits, and the civil processes. And so, a lot of great work being done out there by our sheriff's department, and we certainly appreciate all that they do. And finally, thank you, Fremont County. All too often, elected officials get the pat on the back for great work that's being done, and we know that it wouldn't be done without the staff and without the citizens of Fremont County, making Fremont County a great place to live. And so thank you all for everything you do. Any last comments?
Speaking of thanks, I think we need to say thank you to Alicia Stone. Once again, she is the one who compiled, gathered all of this information and put it together for us this year. So that's one more task that I've taken off of my plate and staff is now taking care of. So we really appreciate all of Alicia's help with this, as well as every department head that we have for pulling together all of this information. We also are very grateful that the sheriff decided to join us and to give us some information. We always extend that offer to our other elected officials, but we know that they're very busy as well. So we just appreciate you all.
Yeah, just one quick note. Again, I mentioned a while ago, but we'll be at the Senior Mini College on Monday, and we'll be going over this again, and we'll be able to answer questions if anybody has any. So sign up for that and come see us. Or come see us any day of the week here, too.
As
Excellent.
long as those days are Monday through Thursday.
Yes, true. Any of those days.
Yes.
All right. Finally, we will move on to the last item on our agenda, the public hearing for zoning change 22-001 Wood at 25305 US Highway 50 Cotopaxi, requesting approval to rezone 2.34 acre property from TTP and CG zone district, which is obsolete, to ag suburban in order to build a residence. And I will open the public hearing and turn to Ms. Adamick, who has been waiting so patiently over
morning.
there.
Good morning.
Good morning, Danielle.
This property is located at 25305 US Highway 50 in Cotopaxi. She is requesting a zone change from the travel trailer park and campground to agricultural suburban. The 15th Amendment to our Fremont County zoning regulations in 2020 made that zone district obsolete, so it doesn't really exist anymore. She was not aware of that when she bought the property. Her intentions are to build a residence, maybe get an ADU, and she wants to have 2 camp trailers for family visits. She is aware of our camping regulations and all the permits that would be needed. We sent this out to a whole bunch of different departments here in the county and external agencies. We only reserved one. The building department recommended that if she is to build a house, that she orientate it so that it's out of the special flood hazard area, or she'll need to go through different permits and application process. She's in compliance, the property is, it's been vacant for a couple years. Sorry guys. And the application is in full compliance, and we, as the department, would recommend approval on the zone change.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay. Any
Public input.
buddy in the audience that would like to talk on this matter? Seeing none.
Don't see them rushing the microphone.
They're not rushing the microphone, neither is John. So I will close the public hearing. Sold. All right, any other comments or questions?
I do have a comment, Mr. Chair. I just would like to say thank you to staff for putting this together. This is one of those I think is a no-brainer. If what the piece of ground currently is zoned no longer exists, it obviously does need to be rezoned. And I think working with the landowner for the appropriate zoning in this case is absolutely the right thing to do. I also appreciate the list of findings that staff did put together to conclude that the proposal does satisfactorily address each of the criteria that we may consider when we're making these changes. So with that, Mr. Chair, I move to approve zone change 22-001 Wood, 25305 US Highway 50 in Cotopaxi, requesting approval to rezone this 2.34 acre property from Travel Trailer Park and Campground Zone District, which is obsolete, to the agricultural suburban so that they may build a residence there.
It will require a resolution.
Resolution will be number 13.
Second.
Okay. It has been moved and seconded to approve this resolution number 13 for the zoning change for Wood, 25305 US Highway 50, Cotopaxi. Any further comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham?
Aye.
Motion carried.
With that, if there is no other business before us, we are adjourned.